Welcome back to Cooking with Keith. I'm Chef Keith. Today we're going to be doing a little twist on a classical dish of veal Milanese. We're going to be switching that out for a wonderful summertime dish of halibut from Nova Scotia. And we're going to be doing, that's going to be our twist today, a little lighter version of a Milanese for the summertime. This is delicious Nova Scotia, a 7-ounce portion that I filleted out. We get it from Brown Trading out of Maine, and they're just a fantastic seafood supplier. We've been using them since we opened the restaurant 9 years ago. And they always guarantee wonderfully fresh, overnighted fish to me. And it's just a pleasure doing business with them. So we'll be starting with this in just a second. And we'll be also introducing how to do a classical tartar sauce, at least the classical way we do it. And it has some parsley and shallots and capers, fresh squeezed lemon juice, a little dried dill, a touch of sugar, and some mayonnaise. We have 2 cups right here of prepared mayonnaise. So we will get going right now by prepping some of our parsley. So to prep the parsley, we'll be just taking the leafy part off, leaving the stems behind. Some people use the stems, but I think for a tartar sauce it's nice to have just the leaves. It makes it a little bit of a smoother experience. You do get some crunch still from the shallots, and so that'll be a nice little crunchy texture. But sometimes the parsley gets a little too crunchy. We just need about 1/3 cup of chopped parsley, and I think we are there now. And we'll start chopping it up. I usually find using your fingers to gather it and kind of roll it over is a good technique. And so see, it's much more compact, almost like you see those videos of people rolling a cigar or tobacco leaves. So there we go. We'll just give it a little, go through it once or twice. We'll turn it around, go a little bit more. So this is a Japanese knife, so I'm not really rocking it very much because it's sharpened on a whetstone. We sharpen it on a whetstone, and it's just really sharp, and they're not made like a European knife. You usually has a little bit more brittle steel used, and so we just more chop than rock back and forth to help not dull the blade. So there we have about 1/3 cup of that, and now we'll peel our shallot, and we'll take that outer skin off. You don't want to leave any of that on, and we'll just peel it off. It comes off usually pretty easy like that, and we'll get rid of the excess there. And now we'll just go down about 6 or 7 slices across, and then we'll go about 2 times across this way. Be careful for your fingers. And just there, and then we will just chop that straight down pretty finely. That last bit you can kind of turn over and just give it a quick going through. And there we go. So we have our shallots and our parsley. And now we will assemble our tartar sauce. We'll go through these steps. We already have our prepared mayonnaise. You can make it homemade, or you can simply buy already made if it's a little easier for you. And we'll start off with our 2 cups of mayo. We'll add about 1/3 cup of capers, and that 1/3 cup of the parsley, and the shallots. And now we'll juice 1 lemon. And I have this little strainer that I bought on a recent trip to Japan. It's great for lemons, and you can just squeeze everything in there. And it keeps all the seeds from going in your sauce. And there we go. And lastly, we have just a little dried dill, and I'm going to put about 2 teaspoons in. And just 1/2 teaspoon of sugar. It's nice to have a little bit of touch of sweetness in the tartar sauce, but not much. And now we simply just stir it around and mix everything together. And now we have a lovely tartar sauce for our fish. So we'll set that aside and we'll start the fish. So first thing we'll do is we'll get our fire on. We're going to start on a little higher heat, and then we'll lower it down when we're ready to put the fish in. So we have a little salt and pepper. So we're going to lightly salt the fillet of fish. And then we're going to use a little white ground pepper. With fish, I almost always use white pepper, especially a delicate white fish. The reason for using white pepper is it's generally considered a more subtle pepper taste than the black pepper can be sometimes a little overwhelming for a delicate white fish. And so our fire is already getting nice and hot. I can feel it. So I'm going to turn it down because we don't want to scorch the fish at all when it goes in, especially the panko breadcrumbs. So we're going to be using panko, if it's nice and crispy Japanese panko. I'll turn that handle a little bit of that way. And so now the trick to this is we're going to do it just one side on the breading. So we're going to lay it gently into the flour, and then you just take it across. I like to hold it on both sides so it doesn't, it's a long piece that I cut, so I don't want it to pick it up like this and have it break before it is prepared. So now I'm going to gently dip it in the beaten eggs and then in the panko. And there you have it. Now we're ready to go. As soon as we get the oil in, so we have a little olive oil. We'll put it all throughout the pan. Shake it around to make sure all the pan is coated with the oil. And this is extra virgin olive oil, and you want to make sure you don't get your heat too hot because it'll burn the oil. It's about a 350 smoke point, 350 degree Fahrenheit smoke point. So we're going to go ahead and gently lay this in now. You can hear the sizzle, but that's about all the sizzle you want. You don't want a massive sizzle. That means your heat is too high on your pan. So we're going to go like that and just let it gently do its thing. And get happy with the fire, and it's just gently cooking. We're just going to turn that oil around on it, and we'll let it go for about 2 minutes. We should be able to turn it. And now that it's been about 2 minutes, we're going to go ahead and turn our fish, and I can see that it's not sticking, so that's good. And we're going to just gently lift it up, get the spatula under, and just gently turn it over. And now you can see it's got this beautiful light brown, medium brown, golden crust. And that's just about what you want, where you want it to be. It's nice and crispy. And we'll go ahead and let it sit there for about, cook for about another 2 minutes, and it'll be perfect. And now we're going to get ready to take the fish out of the pan in about 1 minute. So we'll have our plate here. We have a lemon we'll go ahead and decorate with. We'll have our tartar sauce. We'll go ahead and put a nice dollop of that on the plate. And we have a couple of folded paper towels for the fish. We want to wick off any of the excess oil before it goes on the plate, just for presentation purposes, not to have that oily bit underneath the fish. So we are almost there. 30 more seconds. It might have actually taken 3 minutes on the other side. You don't want to get real firm, but I can still feel it's a little raw in the middle. As you can see, this side is a lot thicker than this edge, than this end. So I'm going to tilt the pan. It's a little trick to get a little extra oil around that thicker end, and that'll make sure if that's a little underdone, it'll concentrate the heat around it. A little more cooking actually going on right around it with the oil. And I can tell that that's done now. So we'll just lift it out. I'm going to go on the side actually. Turn it and lift it carefully onto our paper towels. I'll turn off the fire. Move that away. And here we are. So we have the fish fillet. Beautifully done. We're just going to lift it up carefully and put it on the plate. And what a lovely, simple dish. And we'll simply garnish with a little parsley. A lot of times we'll serve it with a side of potato salad. We have a lovely small red potato salad here with little dill and parsley and champagne vinegar and a little mayo, or we serve it sometimes with ratatouille, or in this case it's caponata. And we usually serve this room temperature. We'll take it out an hour or two from the fridge before service, and we'll just serve it at room temperature. It's a lovely contrast to the hot fish, so it's a really delicious dish. It's similar to ratatouille, but It's got capers and a little more tomato sauce and some nice black olives in there as well. So it's a lovely dish. So now that it's plated, we're going to give it a taste and see the moment of truth here. See if we got truly cooked through and how it's tasting. Grab a little bit of that tartar sauce. I'll put it on. Maybe I'll put a little squeeze of lemon. Absolutely delicious. That is currently my favorite fish dish. It is so delicious and it's so elegant and light, but also crispy, but just on one side. So it's still relatively light, but you get a nice little contrast between the really light, flaky fish and a nice little golden crunch. It's just like a nice long cracker on top. It's just really delicious, and that tartar sauce is fantastic. And when the lemon, it really comes out. It's really nice, and it's a lot lighter than, say, a fish and chips dish. So we hope you try this or visit us at Valeria Restaurant. We'd love to cook it for you. We get our seafood in once or twice a week from Brown Trading in Maine, and like I said, they're our favorite seafood supplier. Again, this fish is halibut from Nova Scotia, from the waters off of Nova Scotia. So it's a really fresh fish. We get it in, usually a day after, maximum after catch. So I hope you enjoy this. If you like, please like and subscribe, and leave any comments. We'd love to hear from you. And until next time, bon appetit.